Hey, we're talking about hearing loss and, more importantly, how we overcome hearing loss. There have been innovative advances in technology you've talked to me about over the years, and I know you're excited all the time about the new products that are out, new ways that you could help people hear better and enjoy a portion of their life that they seem to lose gradually and in many cases may not even know it.
That's right. It's one of those conditions because of the fact that it comes on the individual so very gradually. The human body just kind of adapts, and the course of events is such that they just live in a quieter, gentler, more peaceful world, and they get used to that and kind of like it. So as a general rule, getting someone here to this office requires a gentle nudge, perhaps even a little bit more than gentle. Usually a concerned family member or spouse that has noticed certain things like elevated volumes on television set, having to repeat to the individual several times, the voice of the individual gradually increasing in volume, that type of thing. And so then with encouragement, they'll come by for an evaluation.
So there are social implications and disadvantages. There could be also some that are more dangerous. You want to be able to hear a car coming down the road.
Absolutely.
You want to hear that train whistle. You want to know what's going on in your environment. What comes through your ears, I don't know what percentage it is of your perception in life, but it's quite a bit and probably more than people realize.
It's true. Probably the one individual to look to along those lines is Helen Keller, and she always reported that it would be her hearing that she would prefer to have returned if a miracle could happen. And it just illustrates the isolation that someone with hearing loss experiences.
And as you said, it's gradual, so we want to bring these people back to full hearing if we can. And there are devices that we didn't have just a few years ago. They're less obvious, they work better, can be better customized to particular hearing losses. What has technology developed over the past few years?
Well, digital signal processing is what has changed or revolutionized the whole field. Manufacturers now have such sophistication in developing the chips and the software for programming that I can do so much more than I even thought I could do 5, 6, 7 years ago. And what that means to the patient is a better quality of sound. I do all the programming here at the computer, so I can change, I can tweak, I can fine-tune using channels, bands, gain, maximum power outputs, compression ratios, so that we get the patient initially fit with a good sounding device, but then with follow-up sessions over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we really get the program fine-tuned specifically for them. So it's a more satisfied end user.
And the size, not only the quality, but I noticed the size has, as an option, and I guess as a function of cost, you can get it down so that it's smaller to the point where I don't think you would even notice you have them in.
Exactly. I think you're referring to a unit called a CIC, standing for completely in the canal, and it really is not noticeable from the external ear at all. As a matter of fact, the only way the individual can remove it is via a little almost fish-liney looking removal cord. But we've got all different styles, and it depends on the individual desires of the patient as to what they'll feel most comfortable with.
Well, take us through the process. My spouse, my family, I notice hearing loss. I want to come in, want to find out where I am based on where I should be in my hearing and what you can do for me. How does that process work?
Okay, initially when I see the individual, we go through an extensive hearing history conversation, so I can get any kind of background information that would be informative to me on perhaps the onset or cause of the particular loss. Then we do a thorough otoscopic examination where we check the patient's ear canals and eardrums or tympanic membranes, make sure we don't have any obstruction there. And then we move on to the test suite where we actually do a full audiological evaluation. That includes air conduction, bone conduction, and speech discrimination. And that's the information that I need to determine what type of hearing loss it is. Certain types of hearing loss are medically or surgically correctable, others are not. With the conductive loss that is medically or surgically correctable, when that's identified here at this point, they're referred to an ear, nose, and throat physician. But greater than 90% of all hearing loss is non-medically or surgically correctable. That individual, when it is determined that they've got a significant amount of loss, that's when we sit down and review options as far as amplification is concerned.
And different ranges or different frequencies or the upper end or the lower end or the mid-range, you may have different levels of loss and different in each ear, and along with the fact that it might be different than the next person in your office.
That's why it's really important to have an audiologist that you feel comfortable with to help you navigate through the process, because it's relatively complicated, and one wrong turn will leave an individual very dissatisfied and out a lot of their money.
However, if I secure my hearing aids, I get them, but I find that my left ear is dramatically improved, my right ear perhaps not, can I come back to you for an adjustment on the same hearing aids?
Absolutely, and that's good down the road. As the patient's hearing changes 2-3 years down the road, it doesn't mean looking at a new system, it means getting that system fine-tuned.
Isn't that wonderful? So there is savings.
Oh yes.
With the technology improvements as well.
Digital signal processing has changed a lot.
All right, well that is all informative and fascinating. To get the process started, who do we call? How do we secure that first appointment?
Call us here at Audiology of the Sandhills at 692-6422. We'll get you started.
Thank you, Kate Damala. Audiology of the Sandhills in the Longleaf Medical Center off Highway 1 in Aberdeen. Thank you.
Thank you.